At 10:59, you're going to hear the bells of downtown Herrin. They're going to ring in honor. They're going to ring in honor of all you veterans, the bells of honor. They also will recognize deceased and those who are serving today in the military. At 11 o'clock, I'm going to ask you all to face the east, put your hands over your heart for 1 minute. Then at 11:01, Herrin's #1 citizen, Sam Garnati, will MC the program. Those bells are bells in honor of you veterans. Thank you for your service. Now at this time, would you please stand, face the east, put your hands over your heart for 1 minute. We'll start the Veterans Day celebration for Herrin.
Okay, everybody, let's have your seats. Here we are again, 11th month, 11th day, 11th hour of our Veterans Day. I'm glad to see such a big crowd. Before I go any further, I would want to commend Jim Gentili and his committee for setting this all up. I mean, when Jim does something, he does it bang up. So you see what he's done. That's what, every time he's been involved, this is what we get. So Jim, appreciate all your work. At this time, the American Legion of VFW commanders will post the colors. We'll have our prayer now by Reverend Donnie Colson. Donnie?
I want to thank Sam and Jenny for telling their studies today for giving me an opportunity to be. I kind of a great privilege to stand here before you veterans. The veterans went on before us and their families or loved ones. And sometimes we don't understand or realize how much you sacrificed by giving as they fought for a country and freedom. I thank God for that flag again today. It represents the freedom for us and of all for military. It took a place where maybe we couldn't take. And today we just want to honor all of you. Today we just have to have a word of prayer. I look to the one today that made the heavens and earth and give us this beautiful day. We thank you for it. Let us pray. That you always shadow, protect me, and show your love. Today, let your presence and power be real all over America. And we'll just give you all the praise, the glory, your personal love, protection, and your strength to each one today. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
Good morning and welcome. Today, as for many years, we celebrate Armistice Day, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, commemorates the signing of the armistice between the Allies and Germany in 1918. Today, this date is known as Veterans Day. It is officially a U.S. holiday, which honors people who have served in our armed forces. It is no more than right that we who are not veterans acknowledge the sacrifices that our veterans have made. May we always set aside November the 11th as the day we publicly serve veterans as well as they serve us. Got a little piece of poem that I got off the internet. I don't know who wrote it. I don't imagine they'll mind me saying it here today, but it goes like this. You put it on the line for us. We won't forget. You are A+. This country stands behind because of you. Your service seals red, white, and blue. No better truths embrace this earth. Thank God for you, our greatest worth. We pray for you both night and day. God be with you along your way. You wear your uniform with pride and use your skills so well applied. The rank you hold does one thing. You're a GI and you are first string. Be well assured we back you strong. How proud we say that you belong. Without your will to walk the walk, we'd have no right to talk the talk. Thank you and God bless you.
At this time, we'll have Joe Moore, VFW Senior Vice Commander.
Good morning. All right, I'm gonna read the names of the deceased from Herrin. All right, Louis Absher, James Addison Jr., Charles Alexander, Gary Marwick, John Barra, Eugene Bird, Mario Carnegie, Charles Clark, Philip Clayton, Roy Glendon, Dr. Victor Kameen, Ronald Calvin, Jane Cripe, Everett Davis, Alfred Ditto, William Drake, Bernie Enoch, George Arthur Evans, John Fodder, Frank Cavalier, Valjean Gould, Horace Grant, Elijah Green Jr., Wayne Griffin, Ivan Harmon, Michael Hayes, James Oakley, Brenda Hebel, James Henshaw, Larry Keel, Waldo Killman, Robert Kinley, Jerome Lang, Tommy Law, William McMurray, John Melhorn, Robert Miller, John Moore, Zane Neely, Jack Odom, Lloyd W. Bob Fogle, William Orso, Romo Pango, Roma Parola, Theodore Pavlov Jr., Thomas Popham, Louis Powinski, Walter Ramsey. Wardell Butch Riggins Riggs Jr. Brian Samuel. Jerry Sanders. Dewey Sons. Dick Tabor. John Thornton Jr. Darnell Turner. Jonathan Vaughn. Richard Wiggins. Leon Wilcox. And I apologize if I messed up names, and any of the names may have been, should have been on here. You have to let us know. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lord. At this time, we'll have the commander of the VFW American Legion, Chris.
You have to forgive me, I'm a little scared of all of you. Good morning and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow veterans, present and those present in spirit. I would like to thank all of you for being here with us on this special day to remember and honor our veterans and the special sacrifices that they have made and are still making to maintain our way of life. We may be honoring 2 veterans on this day, but this day is for all veterans. In the ranks among you, I know that there are many stories of courageous and valorous acts. It's right out among you, in your left and right. I hope you see and use this day to stop and reflect on the heroes among us and those that have left our company. Once again, thank you for being with us and helping us to honor our veterans.
A deal's a deal, my friend. He's a hard man to convince to be honored. One of the conditions was that he wouldn't have to say anything. Well, actions are louder than words. So I'll offer the words, he's offered the actions. Amen. The theme for today is, and I left my program in my chair, but I think it says, sometimes we just stare into the sky. That's an old saying. It has a lot of meaning. Some things cannot be described. As you grow older in life, you start to understand that some things you just feel. They are emotion. They are part of being alive. They are the story of one's life. It's an emotion, it's passion. Words like valor and gallantry don't really come close to just taking a moment for one to stare into the sky. Edward Adrippus was born in Herrin Hospital on July 19th, 1947. The son of Tony Adrippus and the former Jewel Davis. Ed's dad, Tony, had been a prisoner of war during World War II in Germany. His dad was reported missing in action and was believed to be dead. Tony Adrippus also was a war hero. Ed was a Navy corpsman assigned during the Vietnam War to Marine Battalion Gulf Company. September of 1968 in Dodge City, south of Da Nang, the battalion was engaged in another battle. On this day, hundreds, maybe thousands of U.S. Marines died in the battlefield. There were very few left alive. Wounded and dying was a Marine that Edward spotted. He crossed the battlefield of death to that Marine who had been shot in the throat. Being a medic Adrippus took out of his pocket an ink pen and inserted it in his throat. Now, I tried to find an ink pen from 1968. There are not many around. In fact, it took me a time last night at my home even to find an ink pen that resembled the old-time ink pens. But this is the tool that saved a life by a man who was thinking. Air into the throat of the Marine would save his life. Edward stayed with that man, that Marine, his comrade, for 1 hour in that death field, blowing, letting him live, until a helicopter came and lifted them to a ship, and from a ship to a hospital. Ed stayed with that Marine. Now, with a simple ink pen and courage and valor of a hero, Edward saved that Marine's life. Stop and picture in your minds, how would you describe that particular moment in Vietnam some 45 years ago? You can't. You just stare into the sky. Ed was awarded the Silver Star. The Silver Star Medal of the United States is awarded to all armed forces and is the third highest medal for valor and courage that can be awarded for gallantry in action. Originally named the Citation Star, it has been awarded to just over 100,000 men and women. Actually, only 3 women. Until recently, 2 more. 94 years. How many millions and millions of people served in the military and fought the wars of the United States against foreign enemies? The number is staggering. So to be one of just over 100,000 is remarkable. It is a rarity. I asked Eddie some questions last night, and he kind of loosened up a little bit. For some reason, veterans don't talk much about battles because it's something that you just stare into the sky and remember. But he somewhat talked about it. I asked him this morning, with all those bodies and all that blood and all that death around you, why didn't you get killed? You should have died. You were laying there an open target for an hour. He had the perfect answer. You know what he told me? God was with me. God took care of me. He told me, God has been with me all my life. God is the power. I trusted God, and God took care of me because God wanted that Marine to live, and I was a tool that God selected to save that man's life. Now, I tell you what, I can't talk with the emotion that deserves, but let me just read a quick list of just 12 names of some of the men that have gotten the Silver Star. Some of you younger people may not recognize the names, and I won't explain who they are because most of them don't need to be described. Most of them are household names with older people. And as you get older, there'll be household names in your homes. Max Cleland, William J. Cullerton, James H. Doolittle, Douglas Fairbanks Jr., Alexander Haig, Lyndon Baines Johnson, Douglas MacArthur, John McCain, Audie Murphy, George S. Patton, John J. Pershing, Chuck Yeager. You recognize those names? Sure you do. There's another name on that list, and he's from Herrin, Illinois. He's from Herrin. He's your friend and he's your neighbor. His name is Edward Rippus. Receiving the third highest military decoration for valor that can be awarded for gallantry in action is indeed an honor. We are not in the White House, and I didn't see the president in the audience, but he didn't like to be called Eddie. But Eddie, you are our hero. July 1947, born the son of a World War II prisoner of war in Herrin, Illinois. Ed today is known as one of the very finest decorators in all of Southern Illinois. His mother would tell you that he showed that talent as a young boy. But also born on that day was the genes of another hero. Ed is the recipient of the third highest medal. And today, I was reflecting back, he brought a newspaper clipping in to the VFW Thursday. We had a media day. And I told him, I said, well, your mother's kept that all these years, but I think that the headline in the story on Saturday's front page of Southern Illinois might be a keeper too, Mother at Rippus. At this time, I would like to recognize Ed's family, who's come from all across the United States to be with him today. His mother, Jewel, is here today. Jewel, if you'd raise your hand, God bless you. Jewel Davis at Rippus, here today. And from Texas, Ed's brother, Dennis. Dennis, raise your hand. You don't have to go back to Texas, though. You're free if you want to stay. All right. I just like to make fun of people from Texas. It really aggravates them. And also with him today is his Aunt Anita Davis, along with many nieces and nephews, and his partner, Mr. Sam Myers. Sam. I from time to time have been given the challenge to speak on behalf of friends on different occasions. Unfortunately, mostly been funerals. But what a joy it is to talk about a man amongst us who's only 2 months older than I am, in good health, and handsome. Ed, if there's any humility left in you today, we may have just sucked it clean out of you.
Another honoree now at this time. Most of you know him also, Terry McEvers. He was awarded the Bronze Star and the Cross of Gallantry with the Bronze Star. This time I'm going to let Terry McEvers speak for himself. You can talk Jim TV. Relax. Terry's never been relaxed on words. You hold your own.
I don't think I can top Jim. I'd like to thank the VFW and American Legion and Jim for this great showing. I'm almost without words. I'd like to thank all the vets that are out here, and there's a lot of them that are heroes. They just haven't had somebody to see their action and to recognize it, that they're out here right among us today. I'm not going to say a whole lot because it's just, I can't top Jim, so I'm going to recognize one other person. I was exposed to Agent Orange when I was in Vietnam, and it has
definitely caused my health to be in a pretty sad shape. There's one person that stood by me for 42 years and been to every hospital and every waiting room and every emergency room, and that's my wife, Cheryl. I'd like to thank you all, and I'll shut up and we'll go eat. Thank you. Shortest speech I've heard from me. Looks appreciated. At this time, our speaker is Ryan Jurek. He's a 7th grader, OLMC. He won the VFW Patriots Pen Essay Contest winner. He's the son of Karen Jurek and Jill Jurek. Ryan.
What patriotism means to me. Patriotism can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It can mean anything from protecting your country from foreign threats to simply singing the national anthem at a baseball game. To me, however, patriotism is about being proud of your country. You are not proud of your country simply because you are told to sing a song about it or commanded to memorize an oath about it. You are proud of your country because you believe in the great ideals that your country puts forth. Patriotism is a love of your country that is so deep, some very amazing and brave people are even willing to die for it to uphold its ideals. The ideals that these people might die for are the same ideals that some people might carelessly pass aside. No one, however, should ever disrespect the ideals of one's country in this manner. A long time ago, a committee of men decided to free themselves from the grips of tyrannical government from across the ocean. By deciding to do this, they started a revolution that would soon engulf the whole of the 13 colonies in a brand new idea that would invite the emotion of patriotism into every citizen's heart. This idea of revolution helped greatly as to shape America into what it is today. That same flame of patriotism that was sparked back then is still burning in the hearts of men today. That flame of modern-day patriotism shows itself whenever we feel compelled to talk about the great things our country has done. Every time we see a symbol of America's accomplishments, such as the American flag on the moon or the Declaration of Independence, we understand that the American dream is still alive and well. We understand what it is to be proud of our country. We understand what it is to feel patriotism. Thank you.
I can see why he won that contest. We have another speaker at this time, Nicholas Riker, Herrin High School senior. He won the VFW Voice of Democracy Essay Contest winner. He's the son of Terry and Debbie Riker.
Many Americans are not optimistic about our nation's future. I, on the other hand, think that America's future is very bright. The main reason is that throughout the history of our country, we as Americans have overcame great adversities time and time again and have risen to greater heights each and every time. When colonial America faced down the most powerful country in the world, they did not blink, and in the process created a new country where all men could rise from humble beginnings to become leaders in their communities and in the nation. In the War of 1812, the British Empire burned down the beloved White House. The United States did not crumble. They instead used it as motivation to defeat the mighty British Empire once again. Then nearly 47 years later, the Civil War pitted brother versus brother, countryman versus countryman. Most countries throughout the history of man have not recovered from such an ordeal. But the United States came together and freed a people that were once in slavery to correct the wrong, to allow even more men to realize the American dream. Then, when it seemed America was on a high note, the Great Depression struck and brought the American economy to her knees. That, coupled with the rise of Nazi Germany, made many believe that our young nation might not survive. And again, the American people dug down deep to defeat the Axis powers and rid the world of tyranny. and in the process expanded democracy throughout the world, the economy grew robust, and America became the world's main superpower. Then the Cold War struck hard, pitting communism against democracy. Democracy won out, and the Great Wall, a symbol of communism, came crashing down. Even in present times, America has faced tragedy. On September 11, 2001, terrorists killed almost 3,000 innocent lives. The American people once again band together, beginning their petty differences, looked terrorism straight in the eye, and made us feel safe in our own backyard. The economic crisis of 2008 has caused many to believe that the best in America is in the past. I, on the other hand, believe that the best in America is yet to come. I see a future in which America, through the use of natural resources and technological advances, will become independent of foreign energy resources. I see in which American entrepreneurial spirit will allow unlimited economic growth. I see a future in which all people, no matter their race, religion, or ideology, will be treated with the dignity and respect granted by our great Constitution. To allow our country to reach the goals of our forefathers that stated that all men have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As Americans, we are strong-minded and physical people who have shown their resiliency, and they have bounced back from crisis after crisis, tragedy after tragedy, and have grown stronger from them as one nation under God. As we teach that motto to our nation's youth, I see no reason why our country won't have a very promising future and continue to be a shining example for the rest of the world. Thank you.
At this time, we'll have a song by Miss Brandy Miller.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Everybody sing. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
This time, that was beautiful Katie. I have a few remarks here.
This is the closing remarks for the day's celebration. I had put something together and I'm not going to use it because my closing remarks were given to me by Everett Rippus just before the program started. The theme today, sometimes we just stare into the sky. On that battlefield to commemorate those who were killed. And God reached out to me. Because in that helicopter, they had picked up all the stuff from the battlefield after that battle. And at the end of that ceremonial, they released it from the helicopter. And guess what fluttered to Ed's feet? helicopter through the sky, fluttering back to him. Sometime later was that testament that he lost the day that he saved his comrade. Sometimes you just have to stare into the sky.